Let's change topics a little bit to talk about a TOFOP favorite,
Good story,
The
though.
Rock.
I mean, I'm glad you did it for the story. That's some
Oh, yeah.
quality.
Well, the part of me was thinking, even if this goes wrong, we're recording TOFOP tomorrow. I'm going to have something to say about it.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat, literally.
I've been made it through the second season of Young Rock,
Uh-huh.
and as we discussed previously when talking about the Young Rock, this is the Rock testing the waters for a presidential bid. That's the plot line that strings all these kind of flat. So if you can think about it like an episode of Family Guy, every episode starts with the Rock in the future, 2032, doing his presidential campaign, and the guy interviewing him, he'll say like, hey, the waiter hasn't brought our bread rolls. You don't mind waiting? And The Rock's like, no, I don't mind waiting. Because when I was 7 years old, and then they will cut to like a lesson he learned as a 7-year-old or whatever like that.
Okay.
It's a fine, serviceable sitcom. If you're into wrestling, especially wrestling from the 80s, it's pretty cool because there's a lot of kind of nods and, actors playing famous wrestlers from the 80s. So it's all fun. But my belief is The Rock, he's testing the waters for a real presidential run. And also, as you discussed last time, he's creating his own mythology. Like he's turning himself into something even more famous and more mythological than he already is by committing all these stories to public record.
It's what in the future they will call a rockumentary.
A rockumentary. So he, I think actually they even make that joke in the show. They really leave no pun unturned.
Unturned.
No
I should
unturned.
Get on board with this.
Yeah, I think you would quite like it. I think it's it treads this really fine line between, like, if it wasn't The Rock, you'd be like, this fucking dude, like, it's almost like a cult leader. Like he's so earnest in his belief about life lessons and hard work and humbleness and blah, blah, blah. And, these are the things that, are the ABCs of me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if you weren't just the most charismatic, charming, successful dude on the planet, you'd be like, fuck you. Like, I resent this.
Yeah,
I resent this and I resent the show.
He is. So it's fine. It works perfectly for him.
Spoiler alert, at the end of the second season, he loses the election to become president. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. But I reckon he is wargaming it.
Oh,
like he is wargaming. Okay, so let's run a scenario in which I don't win. Let's see what the reaction is. Let's see what people respond to. Let's see what they're probably doing heaps of market research. So it got me thinking about The Rock. And then, we had that discussion about, does he even operate his social media? And he's so media savvy. There is a line that The Rock has been using for the last 2 years in relation to his upcoming DC movie, Black Adam. Now, for someone who is so media savvy and really has a handle on PR and self-promotion, it is one of the clunkiest lines that I've ever heard anyone use, yet he persists with it. And I want your input because you're a Rock fan. You also know a bit about marketing and advertising and slogans. So are you familiar with the line he's been using about Black Adam? So every time he's promoted this upcoming Black Adam film, he says something about the DC universe. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. So about 2 years ago, and I've been trying to track this online. So about 2 years ago, DC did one of their upfronts or whatever, and he was publicizing it. And he said, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. And since that time, I reckon every post about Black Adam, if not other things related to DC, The Rock has said it's either the hierarchy of power is about to change or the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is changing, right? It is the clunkiest fucking tagline. Like, it's terrible. It doesn't roll off the tongue. You sort of have to think and break it down for a bit. Then you start wondering, well, what is the hierarchy of power? But obviously this is a dude who market researches fucking everything, right? You think that he and his $7 guys would be like, we want to bring out Black Adam to be the biggest DC film of all time, or what's something that we can hang our hat on? What is the motto of this film? He even posted something a couple of days ago where it was a photo of him with the Black Adam script, and he's sitting at the steps of this, of this throne room set, and there's the big Black Adam throne. And The Rock wrote this really earnest post about today was a big day. I sat in Black Adam's throne for the first time, and we started shooting this film, whenever 2 years ago. I promised myself that I would not sit in that throne until I believed I had delivered upon, the promise of this character. As an actor, I'm like, that's fucking annoying. Like, you're an actor. Like, they may need to shoot the throne scene early. Just sit in the fucking chair. It's fine. You've earned it. Like it says in the script, you earned it. Like, it's not, you don't have to earn the right to sit in the chair.
Also, it's not a thing. Like,
not a thing.
The bigger point for me is that it's a thing that
it's not a real throne.
Just made up yourself. It isn't. You're not Black Adam. I need to point out there is no Black Adam. It's a made up.
There was no Black Adam.
Yeah.
Made up character. So what do you reckon? Because he's been so persistent.
Yeah.
Like, I even went online and found out that I'm not the only one who's noticed this. Like, it's become a meme. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. A, do you think it's a good slogan? B, do you think, why do you think that they are pushing this so hard? Is there something beyond just selling Black Adam, or is there something else underneath this? Because watching the young Rock and seeing these posts, these earnest posts, like, he clearly has this, not obsession, but he's a winner and he likes to dominate and he likes to be the best and, go big or go home. But it's such a terrible, clunky slogan. I can't but think there is something else going on.
Okay, so look, here's what I will say. Get the not fun bit out of the way first, and then we can get to the fun of this, which would be that this, in most of these situations, if something is terrible, like, trust that there's someone who's fucked it up rather than like there's some grand conspiracy. So the hierarchy of power is about to change. Sounds okay,
the hierarchy
right?
of power
but
in the DC universe.
Yes.
All right, sorry, yeah.
So the hierarchy of power is about to change. If I told you that
snappy.
was the slogan, that's snappy. You're right. Oh, what does that mean? Like, Adam's like a king. There's maybe it's that, but maybe it's about the idea that, like, move over Superman and move over Batman, like, the real big hero in the universe, and the fact that The Rock is like, not what, like a white guy called Chris, like, playing one of these characters. Like, it's a statement about that. It's like cashing in on the, that kind of Marvel Wakanda, vibe as well. Like, and then I think some marketing executive has gone, yeah, but can we put in the DC universe, please? And they've fucked the whole thing up, right?
Yeah.
Like,
the hierarchy of power is about to change.
Like,
You're
it's
right.
not like if
rolls off the
He-Man's
tongue much
slogan
easier.
was, like, if who's someone who has like like an iconic.
May the
slogan.
force be with you. May the force of the Star Wars universe be with you.
Extended universe be with you.
You're right. It's the corporate branding. Because you're right. That's exactly what the problem is. Yeah. They have mentioned the corporation that does not exist in the story world. Like, if it was just going to be a snappy, evocative title, it would exist purely within the world of Black Adam. The DC universe.
Like, there's no, Batman's never having a conversation with Superman going, man, this is an interesting DC universe that we all live in.
The Neil deGrasse Tyson of the DC universe is like, the DC universe is constantly expanding.
So I think that's it. I mean, I think that's the most boring answer.
Right.
But now let's just take of the DC universe out of it. The hierarchy. Okay. So what is the slogan then?
The hierarchy of power is about to change.
The hierarchy of power is about to change. It's still clunky. Like, it's still not the snappiest. Like,
hierarchy is just not a good word for what they're trying to do.
I mean, hierarchy implies, I think hierarchy is one of those, like, words that feels like it has a regal connotation, or like that sort
hierarchy.
Yeah. But also, I wonder if it is about that idea of they're trying to launch, like, Batman and Superman and all those sort of things haven't quite worked out for them in the way that, perhaps Spider-Man and movies like that are, doing. So maybe this is their thing of going, no. Like, we've got a new big star, and this is not like a little, DC movie. This is like a Batman movie, or this is like a Superman movie. This is like a Justice League movie. This is, how big this movie is going to be. But to take it to where I think you were taking it, which is this a secret message that the hierarchy of power in our society needs to change? Then sure, I'm on board. Absolutely. The QAnon thing, of course, is the storm. The storm is gathering, or the storm is coming. Do you know this?
No.
So basically, anytime you hear a politician, there was a transphobic Australian politician that dominated our election, or at least discussion around this particular candidate. I know her name, but I'm not going to actually even say it because she doesn't deserve the publicity. But when she was getting kicked,
I'm flattered that you think mentioning her on TOFOP will suddenly make it national
well,
news.
because I think this is the world she's going to live in now, not the TOFOP world,
Right.
but the online podcast world, because there is a good living to be made as a grifter. And if you are seen as one of those QAnon people, like, I mean, look at Marjorie, whatever her name is, Thompson. Is that what her name is in America?
Green.
Sorry, yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Is that her name?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Jonathan Taylor Thomas's mother.
that's right. I believe. And Tom Green's mum as well. Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Tom Green's mum, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she, like, I mean, there is an audience there that you can tap into. And so the code word is the storm, or the gathering of the storm, or the storm is coming. So Trump used to tweet about the storm, and this particular politician tweeted about the storm. And so maybe.
So hang on, are you saying that Charlie Cameron of the Brisbane Lions
every time when he says
is part of QAnon?
Hashtag Go Storm, he's actually sending out secret messages to his QAnon followers. That's some 2 podcast streams bleeding into each other. But you can check out our other podcast, 2 Guys, 1 Cup, an AFL adjacent podcast, where we do things like read the Twitter feed of Charles Cameron from the Brisbane Lions. It is exclusive to the Listener app. But okay, so let's just say that they're the Marvel universe of politics, right?
Yeah.
That Trump side. If Trump's coming back and The Rock is going to go into the American presidential election, that WrestleMania that he's about to sign up for, then do they need something that is their version of gathering the storm, or the storm is coming? Like, so maybe the hierarchy of power needs to change. Is their effort to tap into that?
Yeah, I think it's just like you say, maybe it's the simplest solution is they're just wanting to rebrand this franchise, and they want to do it with a bang. And they're like, well, we need to upset the apple cart. And everyone knows the big DC characters, Wonder Woman, Batman, and the other guy. Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
The one who keeps
Superman.
The one who keeps getting in fights in Hawaii. That one.
Yeah, that one. Don't you? Isn't that like? Isn't that a real fucking issue for the marketing team at Warner Brothers?
I can't.
Oh my god!
Like, every day, I was like, can't believe they're still writing about this story about Ezra Miller getting arrested in Hawaii, and I'm like, oh no, it's a different story.
I believe they throw chairs every time. Like, I read the same 2 articles. It's like, oh, must be the same article. No, he's thrown a chair. Sorry, they have thrown a chair twice. In their time as what is he doing? Like, is this
they hate
they? So I keep fucking this up.
I mean, I know your intentions are right. They hate chairs, and you know what? They won't stand for it. Ironically, they do have to stand for it because they don't have chairs anymore.
But I was thinking about what the Warner Brothers marketing team do, because they've obviously spent a lot of money on, this new Flash film. They've got Michael Keaton back as Batman. So they're, this is part of the hierarchy of power in the DC universe changing. Like, they want to, who knows? They're going to alter timelines and all that kind of shit. Hey, forget the Zack Snyder universe. We're starting again. Doesn't help when your star is on more than one occasion throwing a chair at someone.
I mean, again, he hates chairs. Just don't take him to places where there's chairs. That's the problem.
Always standing. Always standing.
I will say, I mean, it looks like they are troubled, and it feels like in that situation you would hope that somebody would step in and go, hey.
I mean, it's not a good thing, but I never liked Ezra Miller. Just was one of as an actor, just never appealed to me. Was always shocked that he kept getting all these opportunities, because I just didn't think they were particularly charming or funny or whatever.
Did you think you were better than Ezra? Come on.
I just didn't understand playing a superhero, but then again, I guess this is more a Zack Snyder thing. Zack Snyder they wanted a Peter Parker type Barry Allen. I never saw Barry Allen as being like this kind of quippy smart ass kid, but that's the direction they went in.
Yeah, I think with Ezra Miller too, like I didn't mind that take on
Right.
Flash. I thought it was fun. Like it worked in those movies. It was actually one of the more fun bits of those movies for me. But I think the problem they had, both they being the people who made the movie and also Ezra, is that like there was already a really good version of the Flash on TV. That TV show, The Flash, like that version of the Flash, I think people are like, yeah, this is a cool version of the Flash. Like, you know, he's kind of a bit dorky and nerdy, but he's also quite competent and good at being the Flash.
And doesn't throw chairs at anyone.
Does not throw chairs.
in their real life. To see the full video, join our Patreon.
Patreon.com/TOFOP.